listening to Africa Business Radio. For up-to-date insights on the African business landscape, log on to www.africabusinessradio.com. Your favorite shows are available as podcasts. Download them on our website and mobile app. Africa Business Radio. Towards a profitable Africa. Africa Business Radio is now available on Google Play Store and Apple App Store. Take us everywhere. Download the app for easy access to our informative content. Africa Business Radio. Towards a profitable Africa.
And we're back. Please don't forget to follow us on Twitter at Africa Biz Radio, Facebook Africa Business Radio, #HRY. Drop us an email, info@africabusinessradio.com, or go to the App Store or the iStore and download our app. And you can interact with us and listen wherever you are. So our next guest on the line is Jennifer Barkhuizen. She's the Head of Communications for Managed Integrity Evaluation. And we're going to be chatting about, in our segment, Getting Hired, on the topic of, is a criminal record holding you back professionally? Now, this is obviously a very hot topic at the moment, and it has been for many years. So we thought we'd chat to Jennifer and see, just get a bit of insight into it. Jennifer, welcome to the show.
Good morning, Gavin. Thank you for having me.
Fantastic. Jennifer, before we start, a little bit about yourself, MIE, what you guys do, your very reason for existence, as it were.
So MIE is a background screening company. We're the largest background screening company in Southern Africa, where we service our clients in terms of assisting with individual background screening checks as well as commercial background checks. And the reason that, MIE does these background checks is to assist companies in mitigating risk before onboarding an individual or a supplier to their organization. We've been in the business for 30 years now. And, we've seen a lot, learned a lot, and, get to know the industry very well, and set a few standards. And, we really want to reiterate the importance of companies making sure that, the people that you onboard, you really know who they are.
Yeah.
Over and above, checking their qualification, etc. You need to know in a position that they will be appointed in, whether they will be able to do the job, and, that everything will be smooth sailing, to put it in layman's terms, working with that person, because you also want to have this person on board with you, not only for a couple of months, but to, build a relationship and have on board for years to come.
Absolutely, yeah. This is not one-night stands, as it were.
Exactly. It's recruitment for companies can become very expensive. Onboarding a new person can become very expensive because it's the time you take to interview that person, it's training you do. So you invest quite a lot of time and money in getting somebody new to join your team. So if the right if the right procedures are not followed always, then the company faces the risk of financially losing out. And if it comes to that, or goes as far as that, it can also harm the reputation of the company.
Absolutely, and I can imagine with you guys have become even more relevant in the digital age, where anybody and a laptop can get themselves a degree from Oxford University by using Photoshop and a few well-placed words.
Yes, we love technology, and technology is the next best thing. However, with all this great technology, it makes it much easier for people to, come across a fake qualification, or even a fake payslip, fake bank statement. So, as it can be a friend and a foe, the technology. But, we've seen and we've adapted. And from our perspective, and our stats show that there has been a definite increase in the demand for background screening over the last 5 years. And the simple reason for that is, people are becoming aware of the false misrepresentation within the market. And that's not always just submitting a fake qualification. It can be anything from identity document, as I mentioned earlier, a fake pay slip. So we really urge job seekers to make sure that when they do go through the recruitment process, whether it is with a recruitment company or a company interviewing them themselves, that they have to be honest about everything, honest on their CV, honest about their history, honest about their employment history, as well as their responsibilities. It's such an important thing that I think many candidates don't always they don't always understand the consequences if you're caught out lying, what those consequences can be for them, and that can really harm your professional career going forward. You might be blacklisted from applying for a position at the particular company who you lie to. If you are caught out with a fake qualification and steps are taken, you can end up with a criminal record.
Really, I was about to ask that. Are there legal ramifications? Are there legal remedies that companies can seek to sort of start discouraging this and say, if you come in here with your fake qualifications and your fake identity, whatever the case may be, there are real life legal ramifications for you?
There most definitely are, and I'm going to reiterate this. I don't think that people looking for jobs who is not being honest really understand the consequences. So a simple example, for instance, is if you buy a fake qualification online. I mean, a degree mill is not uncommon in these days. I mean, they're very sophisticated. So you can literally go online, say you want a degree from a specific university, they send it to you. It's very easily accessible. You pay a couple of $1,000 for it, and there you have your degree. However, if you are caught out, and you will be caught out if a background check is done on you, because talking about MIE specifically, we go directly to the institution.
Yeah.
Now you have given a fake qualification, no records to be found. It's a fraudulent document. Now, if the institution decides to take it further, and you go through the whole process and you are found guilty, over and above you having lied about it and thinking you could have gotten away with it, you might end up with a criminal record. And as you know, a criminal record can definitely follow you for the rest of your life. And most companies doing background checks include a criminal record check to their list of checks as a solution.
Yeah.
Because they also need to take in consideration the safety of their current employees.
Well, absolutely.
So, you might...
Sorry, yeah, and
you can continue.
Yeah, and there are also legal ramifications for the company, especially if they're hiring professional people. Professionals have a certain duty to perform, and there are ramifications if they don't perform their duty as prescribed.
Most definitely. I mean, if you take a very simple example, but this is not an example that I'm making up. This has actually happened in the past, and it was also featured in the news. But I mean, yes, if you fake a small certificate, I'm not saying that it's right, but I mean, if you say you've done a certificate in typing, that's fine. You've lied about it. So instead of typing 50 minutes per word, you only do 20.
Yeah.
It can have implications on your position because you might not be performing. However, if you buy a certificate stating that you are a doctor, for instance, will you want somebody operating on you or treating you or subscribing medication to you that has no idea what they are doing?
Yeah,
I mean,
absolutely.
If you think about it logically,
yeah,
it's got ramifications for the patient, first of all, for the hospital, for their reputation, as well as it's putting people's lives in danger. So I'm again just saying that I'm not saying if it's small you can lie or have a fake qualification, but that is literally severe cases that we've come across.
Well,
this is the implications that it can have.
To absolutely back your point up, I heard quite a horrific story about an airline. One of their planes ran off the end of a runway. So they decided to have a look at the qualifications to perhaps retrain or to do various things. And they found out that 40% of their pilots had fake qualifications that were bought. And once again, a doctor, you do not want a guy who's bought his pilot's license to be flying a Boeing.
Of course not. And I mean, if you think about it, it's plus minus 600 passengers on a plane if it's at full capacity. Now, thinking of a pilot who never even took a day of a class in a day, throughout his life, then taking responsibility for all those people on the plane, it's really shocking. And I mean, we can talk about scenarios like this for 2-3 hours.
Yeah.
You know, it's really bad, and people need to think of the consequences of this.
Well, absolutely. It's these stories that just highlight the importance thereof. Perhaps we don't, put much stock in checking qualifications, as you said, for typists and stuff. But there are ramifications. They can be massive, they can be small, and they do come back and bite the company in the backside.
No, they most definitely do. And if you're hiring a typist or you're hiring a more senior person, you still go through the interview process. It still can cost the company money and resources to get that person on board. So again, it's really something that we urge companies to make sure that they do check the credentials of a candidate. And the same goes with the supplier that you're looking to onboard, because if that supplier has underhanded dealings, that might reflect on your company to make other people think that you might have known about their underhanded dealings. So it's very important from both ends to make sure that whoever you're dealing with is above board. And, the best way to do this is for companies to really have their policies and procedures in place in terms of onboarding an individual or a company, to make sure everybody goes through the same rigorous process in terms of being vetted.
That's very interesting. So you guys do background checks on companies as well. Say I'm hiring a construction company, and I need an electrician or a company that specializes in electrical compliance. You guys would do, and I need this guy to be above board with all the right qualifications attached to the various industry bodies, etc., etc. You guys will do that kind of research as well.
Yes, most definitely. And a typical thing that is looked at is a company's BE certificate, their VAT and their tax status.
Yeah. We
can look at their COID. We do a complete company check to see what, about this company, a complete enhanced, a company check to give you all information about the company. We can do a bank account verification, and this is all important information for a company, especially looking at your multinational companies. They have to abide by certain rules, again, set out for them of who they can and cannot do business with a good reason at the end of the day. And it's very important. I think sometimes companies do overlook these type of things, but it can also then have a negative impact on your business if something does happen along the line, and they might not have been the best company to onboard for a specific job or a project. And I mean, if you look at some of the tenders that goes out these days, these tenders are not just for 100 or 200,000 rand; it's for millions of rands.
Absolutely, I think this is invaluable for companies in South Africa today. I mean, I think a lot of people would have been far better off had they done some background check on our Gupta friends.
Most definitely. And I mean, even not even just stopping at the Guptas. I mean, if you look at a few of the government officials that are in very high ranking positions, there's also been a few discrepancies, and they are setting an example or a precedent that it's fine. It's fine to not be honest. It's fine, so you can actually get somewhere with lying, and it's not fine. It's really not fine, and people need to understand the severity of the situation if you are caught out.
Absolutely.
I'm going to say when.
Yeah, I must agree with you there. There is no, from the highest echelons to the most repetitive tasks in jobs, there's no there must be no compromise on this. No lying, no falsification, etc., etc. Now, I want to move on to has this become more of a problem in recent years? We have a look at the unemployment rates. Now, I'm looking here at my script, and it indicates that unemployment has increased to 27.2% from 26.7%. And we all know that is a lot of horse dung. It's closer to 35, perhaps even 40% the unemployment rate. So has this spurred people to become desperate and to try and, pad their CV, so to speak? Have you seen an increase?
I really do think that it goes two ways. So the first, I definitely agree with you. There's most definitely people are desperate. Everybody is competing for the same jobs. There isn't jobs available. There isn't decent jobs available. So everybody's competing for the same job. So, you might have applied to 20, 30 companies, might have only gotten one or two interviews or callbacks, and it really doesn't go any further. So these people are desperate. They might have families they need to provide for, and then they say, you know what, I've tried this way, I've tried the honest way, and I'm just going to say I do have a matric, where in fact you don't.
Yeah.
So most definitely there is a desperation side to it. Then on the other hand, you just get people that is straightforward being dishonest. They are being dishonest. They've never opened a book to further their studies, and they say, no, it's much easier clicking a few buttons online and then buying your qualification. However, from MIE's perspective, we always say that if you go through the recruitment process, irrespective of your background, be honest on your application. And the reason I want to say this and reiterate it is when you go through a recruitment process and you are being dishonest and you know that you will be vetted by this company, they will catch you for lying to them. Now, the chances of you securing employment, after you've lied is slim to none.
Zilch, yeah.
It's slim to none, because how do you build a relationship if you've lied from the get-go and you caught out, It's much better to rather be upfront and explain what is on your CV, rather put it into perspective. And here I would talk specifically about criminal record checks. Now, I'm not condoning any form of criminal activity. However, if a person has a criminal record and it's something that happened maybe 15 years ago, might have been something small, they may be shoplifted, they were maybe pulled over for driving under the influence. I'm not saying this is correct, but things like this does happen. It doesn't mean you are a bad person. It doesn't mean that you cannot do a job. It just means that 15 years ago you made a bad life choice,
Yeah.
But coming to an interview and saying, this did happen, this is my qualifications, this is my experience, you can phone my previous employer to get my reference, but I do have a criminal record check. I think you then stand a better chance of them, giving you a second look than having to find it out after the fact.
But I imagine that is only for those minor offences. You're not exactly going to hire a person who's been convicted of, financial fraud at a bank.
No, most definitely not. And I think that's why also, criminal record checks for MIE is the highest requested check that we do on an annual basis. Companies really do check that, because you don't want a financial accounting that's been in jail for 10 years, cooking books, working for you.
Yeah.
However, a person let's say a person who was caught for DUI 15 years ago can probably still balance your books very good at the end of the day. But again, that's one thing that MIE can also offer to candidates, and we can assist with the removal of a criminal record.
Okay.
So the removal of a criminal record is called expungement. So expungement is where you apply at the Department of Justice to get your criminal record removed. However, there's of course a few things that they do take into consideration, and it will most definitely also just be for minor crimes, and if something is not constitutional anymore. So that is also a way for you to maybe wipe the slate clean, so you can maybe get rid of that small shoplifting 2 rand pen that you stole and you basically had to pay a fine and you sat with the criminal record. You can get that removed. And if it is expunged by the Department of Justice, then it is as if it's never happened. So it will be completely gone from your from your record.
Fantastic.
So there is light at the end of the tunnel for the honest people.
No, that's great. And then final question from my side. I'm not sure if you have these figures, but when checking on qualifications, do you have a percentage of which ones come back as falsified, as fraudulent, as printed out on the good old HP?
Yes, well, you know what? For 2017, we conducted about over 570,000 criminal, qualification checks last year. And from that, we do see quite a large number coming back as fraudulent. And this also varies. So you get somebody who just lies about having a qualification. They don't necessarily, give a fake document. Others quite blatantly just gives you a falsified document.
Uh-huh.
But it's quite common. It's quite common under matric verifications. So your normal matric qualification.
Yeah.
And it's shocking. But I mean, over and above the matric qualifications, we have seen fraudulent qualifications up to MBA, doctorate degrees.
Nice.
Yeah. And I mean, some of these degree mills, they say they would give you a doctorate degree based on your experience. But I mean, for a smart person, that first of all must not sit right with you, because nobody can just get a qualification based on experience. It doesn't make any sense. It just defeats the purpose, and if I had a doctorate degree behind my name, and I meet someone to say they've got a doctorate but they don't, it will actually be a bit offensive to me. I would feel a bit taken aback, because
absolutely,
getting a doctorate degree is so much work. I mean, it's late nights, it's commitment, and this is usually professionals that's already working, so they've gone through everything, they've put in the hard work, and then the person next to you put in a piece of paper with no hard work, and that's it. So it's bad.
Unbelievable. All right, that's all we have time for today. That's flew by quite quickly. Thank you so much for joining us, Jennifer. And hopefully we can get you on the show again in the near future. Give yourselves a punt. Where can people get more information? Do you have a website?
Yes, we do. They can view more of our services on www.mie.co.za.
Uh-huh.
Should they be interested in finding out more about the expungement process, they can send an email to info@mie.co.za.
Right.
Or they can give us a call at our call center on 012-644-000.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you so much, and chat soon.
Thank you. Have a lovely day.
You too. All right, that was Jennifer Barkhuizen, Head of Communications at MIE, Managed Integrity Evaluation. Some interesting points there. What I really thought came out strongly, something I didn't know about, was doing background checks on companies that you work with. Very exciting project. You don't want to get in bed with the wrong people. As the point that I brought up was, if more people did background checks on our Gupta friends, maybe things could have been avoided, hey? So, we're going to take a short break. Please remember to follow us on Twitter at Africa Biz Radio, on Facebook, Africa Business Radio, #HRWired, or drop us an email, info@africabusinessradio.com. And also, please remember to go to the iStore and the App Store and download our African Business Radio app. You can interact with us, take us wherever you go, and listen on your phone.
Resources can no longer be regarded as a paper-pushing job. It is vital that the HR function is at the heart of your organizational structure, playing a part in all strategic, tactical, and operational decisions. It is about making employers realize that the most valuable assets in the arsenal are employees. HR is about achieving organizational goals through people and creating incentives that align employee objectives with the organization's mission statement.